So today I'm coming to you from the rear of my truck, and that's because I got no sleep last night, because at 2 o'clock this morning I suddenly thought that caliper there and the one on the other side weren't mounted to the caliper, to the rotor, and I've been working inside the truck on the brake pedal and the brake return spring. So, yeah, the old brake return spring and the brake pedal, and there's the Lokar brake pedal and the Lokar throttle pedal all mounted up. But I've been working on the brake pin pedal, and while I've been doing that, I've been pumping the brake pedal. So, that piston had pushed all the way out, and that pad was all the way out on this pad, and that was all pushed up against this edge. And even when I tried to release the bleed nipple, fucking shit wasn't pushing back in. But we got there in the end, and I fixed my brakes. But while I was in the back, and because it's pissing down here this Queen's birthday, I thought I'd do something that I wanted to do for ages, which is affix the rake of the truck, I suppose you could call it. So at Beat Shop, the front of the truck was lower than the arse of the truck, and the front of the truck's on its lowest setting. The arse of the truck is on its lowest setting possible, but we still had rake. I liked the height of the front of the truck, so I didn't want to have to raise that up. So the only way to do that was to drop the rear, which meant shorter springs and keepers and God knows what, or some cardboard-aided design, which is over there. So, and first of all, I'm going to say that I have no problems with Don from Flat Out Engineering and or all his kits and brackets that he supplies. Perfect. I just like being fussy. So here is the upper spring mount, bolts onto the chassis rail. Initially I thought about making another plate to replace that, so it's bigger, taller, sits up higher. That there can be welded up 1.5 inches. And then I thought, you know what, I don't want to have to adapt this because this has already been checked by my certifier. So what I thought, and there's 2 holes that bolt on the top of the chassis rail here for the beam that runs across to the other side, which holds the front diff support mount just there. So I've unbolted those, and somewhere here, here we are, I found myself a piece of 30 by 50 L plate, and I've drilled out the holes, and those are not the 2 bolts. The 2 bolts that go through, they're actually slightly bigger. I just don't have the right size drill bit at the moment. So that's going to bolt onto my chassis rail. Then I'm pretty sure you can see where this is going. If I try and pick this up here, you'll see I've got 2 bolt holes that they come out of. Oh, there's the 3rd bolt hole. And in you go. Something like that. Stay. Stay. And voila, my shock mount has now moved up 1.5 inches. So that's where my initial bolt hole was. Drilled up 1.5 inches. And then 1.5 inches up here as well, or 1.5 inches from where that hole was is now where that hole is. So that has moved my shock mount up 1.5 inches. So at maximum extension, everything will be 1.5 inches taller, I hope. I don't know, but I've changed nothing, I've welded nothing, and if need be I can unbolt all of this, drop that back into its factory hole there, and then look at shortening all of that stuff in there to get the corrected rake. So yeah, that's my job today. That's what I've been doing, making a little plate, whoopsies, hit the camera with my hand to allow all of this to move up. And I just thought I'd share that with you. It's a nice, simple, easy fix to adjust the rake using the Flat Out C4 coilover kit from Dom.